Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to TFC Live episode 22, Skirmission to come aboard. Also say welcome to Dave. Good evening, mate.
Alright, mate.
And Stu's here as well. Hi, buddy.
Hello, mate.
And the obvious admission is there's no Liam tonight, okay? So Liam obviously came down with a bit of the bug. He got a little bit better, survived the weekend, I was away. And then basically he's gone man down again. So he's been to the doc. He's got himself some drugs and he's gone to bed basically. So it's the three of us tonight, which is okay because we've got plenty to talk about. There's a heck of a lot. It's just yet again, you know, content has gone massive for this week. There's loads to talk about. We've got quite a few slides, and we've also got an exclusive tonight, which I'm sure Gadget will be delighted to discuss a bit later on. Should we go straight into the slides then, shall we?
Yeah.
Right, here's my infamous great chance at trying to show these slides.
Yeah, remember to lock it on your screen as well.
And I'll lock it on myself, yeah, exactly. So, screen share. Now, is that locked on me, is it?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. So here we go then. TFC episode 22, July 26, 2016. So slide pack content for tonight then. Okay, the system release includes. There you go. I'll let you read them. I don't need to read those out. So we've got 6 topics for tonight. I could do a bit of feedback actually, guys. I've been putting in sort of title screens, so when you go to the slide packs, you know, for the future, then you can obviously just see the content of one slide one. If it's not the ones you want, then obviously you can bypass and go to the next set. So that's the content for tonight's slides. So I think we'll start off then obviously with one of the most important updates, and that's the Skirmish Foundry line. It came in today. A little bit of controversy, I have to say. So we'll talk about the actual facts of it first, and then we'll have a bit of discussion about what happened. So, as you can see, the Skirmish line focused on the rebalancing of existing submarines, okay, stats, with the inclusion of the new launching rules for subs. So that's point 1. We all knew it was coming. Point 1, submarines now must be 100% health to launch. Guys, good news or bad news? What's your thoughts?
I really don't care that much about it, to be honest with you.
It's not going to affect me, but it's good in the fact that it stops zombie fleets, mate, which is a really, really good thing, like. So yeah. Yeah,
I can see that, and I have to say, I will say tonight we did actually send some questions into Kickside. We were going to have actually one of the employees on tonight. Riken was going to come on, but he's particularly busy sorting out some other stuff. So we sent some questions in, and he's come back with some answers, which we'll go through after the slide pack is finished. But basically, he in the nutshell, he said you're going to need to treat your submarines now as you would do any other fleet. So look after them.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah. However, I can see on the flip side, the only answer for a little man to hit back the big man was to go and actually kite something. So I can sort of, you know, what is he now? The David and Goliath moment is sort of gone away for them. You know, I can see that, but you know, in 6 months' time, no one's going to remember it anyway, or it'll be like the Blackwater days, you know, or do you remember the days when? You know, that's what it's going to be. So there we go. So you can see the rest of it then. So T1 skirmisher fragments can be earned by attacking the level 71 salves. That's straightforward. However, the tier 2, 3, and 4s, okay, you then got to attack those level 30s, 50s, and 70 Reaver Armadas. I'd say they're a bit cheeky, wouldn't you? What do you think? Have you anybody seen them yet?
Yeah, I've hit all 3 of them, but I'm using a ghost crawler to hit them, so they're not really so tough for me, to be honest with you. I'm glad that I have a ghost crawler and I don't have to do the whole inny-outy thing with subs, because that would be really, really tedious.
Yeah, on my end, I haven't really looked at them, to be honest with you, because I've got a ghost as well, and I don't tend to use my other sub-fleets, so it's not something which I'll be rushing out to do.
Although I will say this, I did see a guy in my sector hitting them with a Vanquisher and some Revengers, and I don't know what the build was on his Revengers, but he seemed to be doing pretty good.
Really?
Do you know? Yeah, he seemed to be doing pretty good in there, man, with a Vanquisher and some Revengers.
I did spot a couple of guys. I did log on quickly. I was doing the slides tonight, but I did log on quickly. I saw a couple of guys hitting level 30s with some reasonably sort of like, reasonable fleets. However, when I saw somebody go in with rhinos into level 50, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it did. Within a nanosecond, he was as dead as a dodo, and he was doing the walk of shame back to his base. Oh, I think we've got Laredo in. Yeah, good evening, Laredo. So really, you're attacking you're attacking targets that if you haven't done Reavers before, it could be a bit of an awakening call for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they are a bit cheeky. They've got some ridiculous defenses. They're immune to a lot of things that we have and that sort of stuff. However, they certainly don't like concussion. So if you want to get your skirmisher parts up, I suggest you use the subs you've got now.
Although saying that, this new hull that just came out in the TLC,
yeah,
that's a Conqueror hull, looks ideal for killing these targets, right? I mean, it's got explosive deflection, it's got concussive deflection. Do you know what I mean? And the radioactive damage, the shockwave damage on that weapon is immense. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. Just a thought, and you can get a ridiculous combat speed on the thing as well. Do you know what I mean? And yeah. Reavers are really fast, right?
The feedback I got from Riken tonight was basically really try to use these targets as well to test things for the up and coming raid after obviously the whole raid, because they're going to base the power and the damage off of basically the stats they're going to get back from these targets as well. There is some work on that already, and they obviously raids is multiple targets, whereas this is obviously just progressive. But they are going to base the damage and acceptance and that sort of stuff and the stats off of these baseline targets that we're seeing at the moment. So just bear that in mind. So I would tend to try, if you've got some Kudas and they are sitting there at a certain or you've got Tigers or whatever you've got anyway, but I would tend to use those. It sets you up in preparation as well for doing obviously the raid later on. But there we go. So there we go. So as it says there, so Reaver Marders will spawn alongside the Draconian Marders, but they won't until the sector threat is yellow, okay? And they don't pay out uranium. Just bear that in mind. If you're looking for uranium, don't hit the Reaver targets. And it says their submarines will surface with weapon slots will have their launcher range reduced by 25%. Okay, so those that have been kiting people in their bases, you're now inside their thermal range. You might want to bear that in mind. I thought that'd get a little chuckle. Okay, and part 2 of this then. So with the increase in health points in, players will notice a small amount of damage to their existing sub-fleets. As you've all known, if you logged in, if you haven't logged in already, okay, you're going to get 2 5-hour ship repair tokens available as soon as you've logged in, basically, and that's to go and patch up your subs, or to save them for later, which is what I'm doing. It's up to you, basically. But I noticed on a Kuda, I think you're getting about 14 minutes damage, roughly, and I think on a it's about 40 minutes or something like that on a basic sort of like Nighthawk sort of thing. So
I had just under 5 hours on my Phantom Nighthawk fleet.
Just under 5, was it? Right.
Yeah,
okay.
It was about 4. It was 4 hours and something, but I just used the token on it, right? But still.
Yeah, and Radio just picked that up. That's one of the questions we put. In fact, Dave, you put that question to Riking. So yeah. just to it's up in chat now, so we'll mention it. Yeah, the Phantoms are already at R5. So whatever you've got that's Phantom Tiger, Phantom Hawk, it's already done. So,
but that also means that your fleet is now out of sync with your Phantom until you get the rest of the fleet through the Foundry. Right,
the good thing is,
for instance, my Nighthawks don't have the same turn speed as my Phantom Nighthawk, but I don't think there's any difference to dive time.
No, there isn't, and no dive time and that sort of stuff. No, there isn't.
They're all still going to surface at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
It's just that there'll be slightly different turn speeds or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's just like having one a slightly different ranking, isn't it, for a period of time?
Yeah.
Which is good. So yeah. And then there's the tokens there, and it says as we reduce the range of the radioactive weapons, as we said basically. And so radioactive range is minus 25%, explosive damage is minus 99%. That's interesting, and it applies obviously to all those all those subs then that you could fit obviously surface weapons to, and that's the 4 there. Not that many people use Reapers anymore, but you know, I've definitely seen people use Barracudas quite cheekily and just chuck.
I've seen a few Reaper launcher prep fleets, mate. They do work well, but it's a suicide fleet, like.
Yeah, without a doubt. Which is I'm not too keen on at the moment now. I don't think anybody is.
And with the what?
But you can still, I suppose you can still, you know, fix them on the sea and that sort of stuff. It just that means you can limit your use for all of them now, to be honest, isn't it? So anyway, so that's where we are. So basically, 100% to launch, and the reduction on surface weapons, particularly radioactive range, by 25%. So I think Gadget, you were saying it makes it around 77 or something now.
Yeah, it's somewhere around 71.
71. Right. Well, there we go. So that's obviously within most people's thermal range for if you've got a gamma, etc. And obviously well within sort of like the frosty ring now, isn't it? So you should be generally okay. Moving on. So sub changes. There are a lot of slides tonight. Okay, so we're not just going to sit on every single slide, but basically we'll upload the slide pack afterwards in a PDF format as we always do, so you can download it and look at it at your leisure. Or obviously go onto the forum on Kixie's own website and you can pick it up from there as well. But there we go. There's the buffs. The thing I particularly like about this one here is the cloak increase time to 40 seconds. That's perfect for the cooler, and that will help people a lot. And clearly you can notice that all the modifiers now are being brought down to 100%.
There's some great buffs on the CUDA, man. Honestly.
Wait to see the retros in a minute as well. I've changed it a little bit to where it was put out on the Kixie format. So I've done the sub change, and then as you can see that there you go. I've done the retrofit as well. I've done it in that order, so you can see what it's changed to, and then what your retrofits will be. And some are pretty decent, I have to say. You know, it's not bad at all. Turn speed's gone up as well, you know, which is quite helpful. So that means you can, you know, think about your armors and that sort of stuff, because there's not unlimited much choice, is
the
there?
accuracy buff's pretty good at R5 as well, 35%. Yeah.
Concussive resistance has gone up, and explosive resistance, look, 50%. So that's going to help. That's going to help the low level player without a doubt. That gives him a bit more staying power. Quite like that. And assault DPS on a CUDA. I'm surprised to see that. That's good. It's not massive, but it's there. So anyway, so there we go. That's the Barracuda done. This is fantastic. I like this. That is a third slot, as we thought was going to happen. And I did do a quick build based off the preview server as well. So the third slot is confirmed then, obviously for the Spectre. Again, obviously buff to things like explosive and corrosive, and increase the combat speed, which is that about 2 increase? Was it 14 before, something like that? I can't remember to go off the top of my head. And yeah, again, the last 2 points are the same, 100% modifier, etc. And then on to the retro. Turn speed again has gone up as well, which is good news. Explosive resistance 50% again, same has gone up as well. And turn speed eventually R5 goes up to 30. That's pretty impressive. Which is going to be great for this raid, isn't it? All these turn speeds is ideal. That's getting into those targets and getting away again, you know, because it's all about, you know, unless obviously you've got a ghost crawler. It's all about getting there as fast as you can, turning around as quick as you can while you're still firing, and then getting back out of the way again before that blooming sub-cab field comes up.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the CUDA and this, for the lower end guy, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's good. They've got a chance now.
And didn't you have a Spectre build that was capable of doing A-sets in the test server?
Yeah, I did. I mean, obviously, I think in the preview test server, and I was watching somebody else do it as well. Yeah, I could actually get in, and I managed to knock out one of the big targets. It was going to be one of the A-set targets. It wasn't the 100, I have to say, but I did get in there, and I took out some of the big ones. So it is possible with a set of Spectres actually to do some A-sets.
You know, so if you're like a low to mid-level player and you've got Spectres, you could actually put a fleet together that can do A-sets in the raid. Do you know what I mean? It might be a bit tedious and a bit grindy, but you can get your points.
Yeah, totally. I like the buffs. I have to say, I think they're decent buffs. I'm impressed with them, I must admit. Let's look at the Hawk, shall we? So here's a Nighthawk. Cloak time's gone up. I like that. That's really good. That's going to help those that had them before, because that's quite reasonable. the rest of the Hawk's not been a bad sub all round, actually, to us. It's been, you know, it was the lead sub, wasn't it? And then it was the poor man's Tiger, you know. But actually, it's sort of coming back into its own again there with a decent amount of cloak time, and that's the base cloak time as well, isn't it? So that's quite reasonable. And then going on to the retrofits for this one, yeah, turn speed up to 20 because it always was a bit slow, wasn't it? But concussive resistance 75%. That's quite good, isn't it? Explosive resistance up to 40%. So, but yeah, quite reasonable that. But what's the let's go back. What's the base armor on that? 10,000. Okay, for the Nighthawk, it's a base armor. Yeah, interesting. But okay, and then we'll go on to the last one then, which is obviously the Tiger Shark itself. So. Pleasingly, I've seen the cloak time increase to 70 seconds. That was quite a surprise. I wasn't expecting that to get increased at all.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Because obviously you start obviously adding your multipliers and then start doing your retros on top of that. And, you know, that's going to make a big difference.
And it's nice that it's got a max weight increase as well.
Yeah, well, it was an issue, wasn't it?
Yeah,
although Ren, I spoke to Ren earlier on, and he did say actually that for some reason his subs were overweight and he couldn't launch them for some reason. Not quite sure what had happened. He hadn't done anything to them, but they wouldn't launch for some bizarre reason. So I need to have a chat with him about that. I'm not quite sure what he meant. But so there we go. Anyway, so base armor increases then 10.7, like you say, and max weight increase as well, which is good news. But the cloak time, I think, is the best thing on that. That's going to make. Because that was my plan to use some Tigers, and now it's definitely what I'm going to do, I think. And there we go. There's the quick retros on that one there. Again, cussive up to 80%, like R5. And turn speed, another one that's come up. So all the turn speeds basically have gone up. There goes R5 turn speed 25. So that's ideal.
I mean, how long have we got before the next raid?
Before which one? The sub raid or the next raid?
The sub raid.
Well, it should be the first weekend of September, shouldn't it? Sorry, second weekend of September.
No, I'm just seeing a lot of people in chat saying, "Oh, well, they've messed up my sub fleet, yada yada." But you've got enough time to get out there and get these parts.
Well, I don't think it's messed any sub fleets up, is it?
No.
I mean, we all knew for the last 2 months that 100% repair modifiers is going to come, and we all knew that 100% launch is going to come.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like it, some people don't, but the game has changed, and we've just got to put up with it, or don't play. But you know, the build times, the DPS, and the retros on the subs are quite decent.
No, I'm on about the Foundry, mate. I mean, there's more than enough time to get out there. And
yeah, definitely, yeah. But you don't have to do the Foundry. Same as any Foundry. Foundry is always a Billy bonus, isn't it? You don't have to. I've not done any of the other Foundry because I don't need those ships particularly to play my game. And like akin for yourself with a Ghost Crawler, you're not even going to think about this, you know, unless you want to build something just for the fun of building it. But those that need to build the sub, then they can decide whether they want to retrofit it, or sorry, to Foundry it or not. You know, it's not a must, is it? It's a good idea if you did, but it's not an absolute. You know, you can't say you can't raid unless you do it, because you certainly can. Anyway, so there we go. So that's the 4 subs, and that's their equivalent bits. Like I said, I'll upload the slide pack in PDF format so everybody can take the time and have a look at it. Build time reductions. Okay, so to aid construction of the submarines, we've reduced the build times on the weapons used on subs. There's some great reductions on here. I know, Dave, you were looking at these earlier on, weren't you? The Charon Torp. I mean that's great. I think, to be honest.
I wish it was that low when I first built my Ghost, man.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, I must admit. I mean, now 10 hours. I mean, that's one day 5 hours off per Torp.
Yeah, I know that is just nuts, though. I'm not too sure why the sticks is more though.
Yeah, well, we know it's a dot bit, don't we? But we're not going to be using that.
The sticks was 8 hours more before, and now it's 7 hours more.
Yeah.
So you know, it's come down a little bit more than the Charon has, really.
Yeah.
Right, because it should be 18 hours.
Yeah,
it should be 18 hours, 9 minutes, 49 seconds, but it's actually 17 hours. So it's actually it's come down a little bit more.
I know it's all done by percentages, but there's some interesting ones a bit further down. I mean, apart from building bees, I mean, you might want to chuck a lot of V's on, but they've got not much power in them, have they? But they do help you speed you up a little bit. If you haven't got bees, that is. The Z-Torp, you know, we all know Z-Torp's quite powerful, the D65Z, you know, but obviously its range stinks. But look at the build time, 8 hours 30, and actually a Charon Torp's only a couple of hours more. That's
look at the assault B, man. The assault B's 4 hours 25 minutes.
That'd be the one to use, the assault B, if you haven't got the other two Torps. I mean, that's just a nuts time, mate.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
A lower end guy could throw a half decent sub fleet together now in no time, though.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's made a huge difference, and it was, you know, somebody might say it's a little bit late and that sort of stuff, but I don't think so. Not with those times. We did say wait and pause and that sort of stuff, and you know, those that were building subs that picked up blanks beforehand, you know, I hadn't bothered building things. We did say build the blanks and then wait for this. You know, subs do build faster ships build faster that way anyway, by building the blank first and then fitting it afterwards. So this is coming, I think, roughly at the right time, really, to be honest.
I just think that this has given the lower end guys a great leg up, mate, because you can use your sub fleets for so much, like, and a lot of them didn't build them because of the build time and stuff, but now they've dropped the build times and that, mate.
And I'm glad the Charon has actually come down to 10 hours, because, you know, we noticed in the test server that the Charon was much more effective in raid targets than the Styx was.
And as you saw, Dave, you know, when I did the Charons, I only put 2 on each one of my Tigers. I still managed to kill a target. I only put 2 on, the rest of it was all B-Torps.
I mean, on a Ghost Crawler, you could get a build going on with Charons that kill the ships and them targets with one volley.
One volley, yeah. And I did two cycles. I went in, out, and I only had a total of 10 Torps, and I still managed to do each one of the ships in 2 rounds. You know, so you haven't got to go crazy in your Torps, you know. And I just stuck with bees because I didn't go in that far, but I just used them for the speed buff, which made a big difference. So great, good news. You think? Agree with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or any build time reduction on anything is good news.
Yeah, I mean, the last build time reduction was great. I mean, the interception system was ideal. You know, the rest of it was a little bit okay. It was okay, but this is actually a really good set, and I can see 5 good Torps there that people can use now. That they probably will use, to be honest, and 3 particular ones as well. So that's good. Okay, so moving on to the next bit then. So the increased fragment drop then. So as it says there, then increased sector threat to earn multipliers and fragment drops from the Foundry targets. Okay, from 12 p.m. on the 29th until 12 p.m. on the 31st of July. You get a times 2 if the sector threat is in yellow, and times 3 if the sector threat is in orange. So.
Is that only between set? I just thought it was like that all of the time, mate.
I actually thought it was like that all the time as well. It wasn't until I saw this pop up I thought, but I hadn't noticed it because I've not really been doing much Foundry.
No, at the moment I thought that the Reaver targets themselves, the Reaver targets for the Skirmish line are only out. I thought they were only out when the sector threat was yellow.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So then.
But maybe they're dropping twice the amount during this period.
Yeah, so during that period, they'll just drop twice the amount in yellow and 3 times the amount in orange. Right. So for the 29th, make sure you get your asses over to a sector that gets in orange frequently.
Well, I'm in one, as you know now. Yeah, so interesting. I suppose, was that the same when they were doing the gantry parts? Wasn't there a period of time when you could get extra points, or was that just when it hits orange or something like that?
No, they had that as well. They had it.
Did they?
Gantry, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, there we go then. So 29th through to the 31st then. Find a sector that actually does get its bar up, you know, that's active and that sort of stuff, and then you stand a much better chance of getting your Foundry bits done much faster.
So on the 29th, all PM TSM, so you can jump to them.
Yeah, everyone jumped to me. Well, you've seen the sector's busy that I'm in, mate. I mean, it's chock-a-block. It's like the old days. It really is. It's great. You just can't get on comms chat because there's no point trying because every Tom, Dick, and Harry's talking. Right. So there we go. So that's the fragment drops. Next one. Here we go. The infamous VXP Bulk Buy. So if you're mad enough and if you want to, okay, you have the option then. Okay, as you can see there, from the 26th, okay, right through to Tuesday the 2nd, the 8th. Okay, to take advantage of discounts on VXP ranking. So if you want to rank up your Vanquisher, okay, if you haven't done it already, I'd be surprised if you haven't because it was easy. Okay, it's 50% off. Okay. 50% off a lot of money is still a lot of money to me, but there we go. For Rhinos and Apollos, it's 30% off, and as you can see, look, it's 20% off. And quite amusingly, for the Enforcer, it's 80% off. But then again, that was what was that a tier 2 or 3 prize, wasn't it, in the last raid? Can't remember. It was there, wasn't it? Down the bottom somewhere. So if you didn't manage to rank it, obviously,
it's a really old hull, man.
Well, they did release it, didn't they? Because I mean, new players, it's a really old hull, but anybody that started, and that was their first decent hull for defending their base if they're a low level, what was it? It was like a million a bit points or something like that, and they don't want to, or they want to rank it. If you want to spend the money, it's your money. That's all I can say. It is your decision. Okay, so there we go. So that's the offer anyway. It's up to the individuals. Okay, so let's moving on because I know you two have done this already. You're coining it. Okay, so War Games time limited campaign. So here we go then. It's another week-long one. Okay, the limited campaign is available for captains of level 60 or above. It started today. And basically it will end next Tuesday. Okay, the campaign features a new style where you can use your Conqueror fleets. Okay, well, you actually can use what you fancy, but use your Conqueror fleets against copies of real player bases in combat. Now those real player bases have names on them, don't they, guys? Because we know whose bases they are.
Well, so we know whose bases some of them are, but they don't have names on them.
Oh, they were going to name them. I haven't done it. Did we not do that?
No, it's just Draconian level 1 through 9.
Oh, that's a real shame because I know whose bases they are because I remember when they did the trawl for bases and that sort of stuff, and they said, right, we'll use your bases and we'll put your names on. I'm guessing they've probably changed their mind then. That's a shame.
I mean, the top end ones. I mean, most top end players use them, so
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I know some people put in there like you have an option 1, option 2 base, don't you? And some people put in their B bases and that sort of stuff, Or Laredo said they did name them. I thought they did as well.
Well, I didn't see names, but then I didn't really take much notice.
A couple of guys are saying
the names weren't there when I did mine.
All mine.
So all you guys who are seeing the names must be slackers because I did mine right away and I didn't see no names.
I'm just going to scroll back the chat there, hang on, because I got something funny. Someone just said, didn't flip and use mine. If it's who I think it is, I'm not surprised. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Jeff, there's a reason for that, mate. Well, maybe there's a tier 1 base hit. I'm not so sure, but yeah. So they are named, okay, because there's enough people in the chat saying they're done, okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So there you go. Loreda's just posted up the names. J-Boys is in there, Liam's in, that sort of stuff. Yeah, good. Okay. So they are named. Maybe they weren't earlier on. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it yet. I haven't had a chance to. I haven't even logged on tonight. But I'll have a look a bit later on. So have some fun anyway. So if you ever want to go and smash Liam 99, you never find him in a sector. There you go. Time limited campaign. Go and beat him up, and then post it on the TFC page just to say you've done it. J-Boy the same. That'd be amusing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say though, the guards in these bases are not the guards that are in the actual players' bases. So
no, they did say
that. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted thinking that you smash J-Boy's base in the campaign and you can now go and smash J-Boy because you won't find the same base when you hit him.
Do you know what? You should have said that. That'd be quite funny because you just go and smash that. Like, I can do J-Boy's base. Where is he? Find him on the Gims thing and then just go and hit him and then make yourself look a complete arse. That'd be quite funny. I'm sure J-Boy would laugh his head off as well. But there we go. So there you go. So name the bases appear. Earn Retribution. Yeah, okay. So you get the hull, and we'll go through the hulls and the launcher, and we'll talk about the special in a second. So the whole week, and it's something extra to do if you want to do it. You don't have to, but if you want to, it's there. So here we go. we looked at the prize list, and I must admit, I was hoping it was going to be reversed a bit like the raid, where you get the hull first, and then you go up to the weapon, and then the special at the end, sort of stuff. I can see in a way that as the bases get harder, that makes it a bit arse about face as well. There's no win-win on this. At the end of the day, you get in the special, then you get in the weapon, and then you get in the hull. Just going to live with it. Just that some people could have probably done with the hull, but may never be able to hit those bases and win against them. So
I don't know, mate. In my personal opinion, all I'm going to say about this is that this special right here is better for me than the hull.
Yeah. I don't see me doing the hull.
I personally find this special a hell of a lot more useful than the hull.
Yeah, I like the special because if you read those stats, the accuracy and the bits that, and it's a low weapon weight as well. I was impressed with that, rather than an all-up weight or an armor weight. So that's made a big difference. There's some ships there that have just come out that are really going to like this. So, not your subs, but it's it's going to be good fun to use this.
I mean, screw it. I'm just going to drop it, mate. I was looking at this, and on a Vanquisher, I reckon this takes Cyclones up to 96% accuracy. Right, which is pretty badass.
I mean, as Stu was saying, to me, the Vanquisher gets this now, and then that makes my Gammas into counter ships now.
Exactly.
And that changes your whole base again, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was having this conversation with someone in 400 earlier. I was trying to explain to him that the Gamma is the best countermeasure ship, bar none, in this game. Right? It's like I've had a few people say, "Oh, what about Tritons and this, that, and the other?" Because they get all that range. But the simple fact of the matter is, Tritons don't even slow Vendettas down. You know what I mean? But Gammas present a particular problem for Vendettas, especially if they're set up right and they have, if it's all countermeasures. I mean, personally, I don't run all countermeasures on my Gammas. I run a mix of countermeasures and offensive weapons. But the all countermeasure ones, they're nasty. They're nasty to Mort fleets, man. Like they shut Mort fleets down. You come across a base with a couple of all countermeasure Gammas in there, and you start trying to think about how you can prep it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, I was doing my alley points this week, and I come up against, I can't remember what the level of the base was, it doesn't matter, it's over 100 anyway, and I ran out of time, and I was like, well, I can either sit here and just wait for my morts to try and hit land, or I can just exit. So I thought, well, I ain't doing nothing else, so I'll just wait for it to time out in case I got sniped when I went out. But I did. My morts just couldn't get through, and I had three good, with the overload and everything on it. It just didn't touch it. It didn't have enough damage to that hull to be able to neutralize it, which I was quite, it was a good build. It was fine. So yeah, no, I agree with you there totally. So we like the special. It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's great. This is a great prize right here.
Yeah, it is. So let's have a look at this then. So the Thermonuclear Launcher. Okay, a no holds barred Legion heavyweight weapon system. Thoughts? It's the first time I've looked at the blueprint. I must admit, I haven't even had a chance yet. I just copied a picture across and put it on the slide. So
it's a bit redonkulous, really.
It looks like War of the Worlds sort of thing. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm glad they made it a heavy weapon, so you're restricted as to the boats you can put it on. To be honest with you.
Oh yeah. Yes, heavy weapon.
Yeah, because if this was a normal weapon, I think it would really unbalance the game.
Overkill.
If you could put this on any hull, it would be really bad. So I like that it's a heavy weapon.
Looks like Wally. I like that.
Yeah, it does look a bit like Wally.
I was trying to think what it looked like. You're right. It does look like Wally. But yeah, as Cut said, evening buddy. This could almost bring HCs back into for the low level players and that sort of stuff. Because they've been looking for a decent sort of heavy weapon, and 3 of those on a HC. You can probably do some damage with those sort of things. There's repair times an hour.
And the multi-shot special will work with it as well, because it's a multi-shot weapon. So that's the thing though. When you look at like the shockwave damage of this thing, it's redonkulous. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's impossible for you to use shockwave plates to mitigate the shockwave damage.
That's much damage, yeah.
On this weapon, on any hull, I can't think of any hull that you could fit enough plates on to mitigate that damage.
So, you thinking then? What about making this as one of your prep ships?
It's possible. It's possible
With the accuracy buff as well.
Possibly. I'd probably only build one, to be honest with you, one or two. I don't know about a whole fleet. But then that being said, you might see this coming back to being run into your base one at a time, like the Punishers were with the HLNC, right?
The old launcher Punisher. Yeah, they were pretty devastating, weren't they, when they came through? Yeah. Thinking outside the box again. That's good.
It could be a nasty weapon, man, for sure.
Yeah. Even though it looks like Wally, but yeah, you're right.
Although the accuracy of 50% is pretty low, so you're going to struggle to get it up to the 90s.
But it's just that's what the special's there for, isn't it? Is to try and get its accuracy up a bit more.
Yeah,
but
32% of 50 is not going to be big. You know what I mean? It's going to take you up around 68 or something like that.
But there's a multi-shot of 4 there. Now, is this one because the way it's done, is this split across the 4 shots?
Yeah,
it is.
It will be the same way that the Cyclone works.
So was it 15, 16,000 each? And obviously, if you add the multi-shot bonus, you're going to reduce it again, so you may want to do that.
No, the multi-shot doesn't reduce it. The multi-shot actually adds to the damage.
So you could get it up to a heavy weapon. You can get... What's that biggest one? You can get... Is it extra 4 shots, isn't it?
No. You can get an. Oh, it's a heavy weapon. Yeah, I think you can add. Isn't it 3 to the multi? Let me just check it really quickly and.
Yeah, if you could, mate, because that will change things considerably.
Let me just look at it.
Because I know it's only 2 on a standard weapon, isn't it? But I think it's either 3.
Oh no, it's 6 on a heavy weapon.
6.
It's 6.
So you're gonna get 10.
You're gonna get a multi-shot of 10, but not only that. Bear in mind that each multi-shot of 4 is going to basically add 64,000 damage to that weapon, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so you're looking at 64 and then what? Another 32. So you're looking at 96,000 damage going on top of that.
Per weapon.
Do you know what I mean? Per weapon.
That's crazy. Okay, I understand the percentage of hits is quite low still, but even so, when it hits, it hits.
Yeah, it's interesting. Looking at the damage you can get this thing up to, you could probably just run a fleet with just these 2.
Yeah, do you know what?
Just the 2 heavy weapons on it.
Yeah.
And that's it, and just run them in one at a time.
And just fill it full of anti-mortal or fucking
or something.
Yeah, you don't even need anti-morts, mate, because it's got like 8,000. The new hull's got some ridiculous explosive deflection.
And a good thing, again, it says, did you read the bit about some?
Maybe flanks 4 to help with like bases with rhinos in it, because it doesn't have a whole bunch of penetrative deflection, even at full bloodthirst.
I mean, if you look at it, it's special abilities, man. It's building that at 128,000.
The wall damage.
That's just like. Crazy.
It's like what I heard about it is it was kind of like the particle accelerator cannon.
No.
Right, this secondary weapon. Basically, it's the same sort of function as the particle accelerator cannon, right? It's like that blue fairy dust thing that shoots out of it every now and then and does some ridiculous damage.
That's just crazy, man.
Do you know what I mean?
That's another good option, isn't it?
But unlike the particle accelerator cannon, what I notice here is that it has a damage of 64,000 still. So that means that it's not going to be really, really crap against your guards and only good against buildings. It's going to hurt your guards too. And it's going to hurt submerged guards too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, submerged damage, it says at the bottom there. Yeah, wall damage, yeah, building damage. Great news. All right, that's okay. That's good fun. I like that. That's good. And obviously the Retribution. Okay. So this is the hull that you guys have just won, and I know, Dave, you flashed up a quick build, didn't you, and that sort of stuff. So in the preview there. So what do you think of the hull then in general? Now we just decided about that weapon as well.
The only thing I was like me and David were talking about beforehand is the pen defense. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing I look at it that it's got going for it is the 100,000 base armor, right? I mean, most revenge tanks that come into people's bases are around 35, 40,000 armor. So these aren't going to melt anywhere near as quick as they are because of that high armor stat, right? And I just don't know, man. I don't know whether these are going to work great in a fleet on their own or whether they're going to work good like mixed in with other hulls. Do you know what I mean? Like say Vendettas or something. Because you got to remember, you could always run a Vendetta just in front of this to soak up all the Deadeyes, and let it follow the Vendetta in just behind it. Blasting its stuff, like if you had say a 4 Vendetta fleet with one of these in, and you took a Vendetta in first and followed it in with this, and let this thing just fire off at a couple of the guards, that you can clear like 50% of the guy's guard fleet and still have 3 Vendettas left to go finish the base off with.
Do you know, if you don't have a sub-hunting fleet, yeah. I mean, look at this thing. It's got 80 thermal. Okay, and if you haven't got a sub-hunting fleet, look at the submerged damage, 72,000.
Yeah, and you can get this thing up to some speed too.
Some crazy
right?
speed,
like I was looking at one build that had like 68 combat speed.
Yeah, I mean its flat rate is 25.
You know what I mean? So that this thing has a thermal of 80 and is fast enough to catch ghost crawlers.
And your build was 10.5 days, wasn't it, roughly?
Yeah, it was 10.5 days. If you wanted to build a sub-hunting fleet with this, you could make a fleet that could catch ghost crawlers. Right, because it's 68 combat speed.
And look at
you wouldn't catch them when they were in deep dive because they get like quite a big buff when they go into deep dive. But the whole time they were in just normal submerge, you could get on top of them with this fleet really quickly.
You could split them slightly because whichever way he wants to go, you could split them up a little bit because there's concussive deflection of 4,000 there.
Yeah, the concussive deflection's great.
Yeah. And even with a few scatters, you've got a corrosive deflection.
He's got corrosive deflection for scatters and for Styx torpedoes.
So if you're sick to death about your Punishers getting nabbed on the high seas by people with subs, you slap this in slot 1, you're going to change the game a little bit for yourself.
Yeah, it would make an interesting sub-hunter, actually.
Just the sheer speed of the darn thing.
Because of the speed and the deflections.
Do you know this thing as well? If you've only got some citadels and that sort of stuff, I'm just thinking if you want to hit the 107s in the FM, build one of these and stick it in front, and then nothing's going to hit you because you're going to run at such a speed. Those freaking Murphing bloody arc missiles, they're not going to touch this thing. You're going to run parallel, at about 30 feet. About 3 ships width apart. This thing's going to run in front, and you're going to go at 90 degrees with your citadels or whatever you've got. This thing's going to outrun that Merv easy.
With that much damage, mate, you could probably just use a fleet of these.
It looks like it looks like it could do a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what? The base build time on just a naked hull is like under 2 days, mate.
This could become another one of those workhorses.
Right? A naked hull on its own is under 2 days. I think it's a very, very, very low build time. And
but
like
the point
I said,
is
fully equipped, it's going to be between 10 and 14 days, depending on what you put on it. Do you know what I mean?
But it's a Conqueror hull, so it's going to work against turrets. It's going to work well against that sort of stuff. So
and I think on my build, the repair time was like the repair time's a little steep, right? The repair time on my hull was just over 5 hours a boat, right? So I mean, on a 5-ship fleet, that we're back up to 50 coins.
Yeah, got you.
Do you know what I mean? So that's something that's a little bit of a discouragement for me there, right? Is that all of a sudden the repair time has jumped from nice and low 25s, 30s back up to the 50s and what have you that we were paying for Reavers. You know
that's no fun, is it? Yeah, that's no fun, I have to say. Okay, all right. What forgot the last? I think we've got bug fixes and tuning. There's not a great deal for this week, to be honest. So, fix an issue where the repair time is displayed in the dock before the repair was started would be lower than the actual time used when the repair was started when using armors with the repair reduction time built in. Does that make sense to everybody? Basically, people were doing their retros and their reduction times and that sort of stuff, so it would say fix, and you got like 1.5 hours, and then the actual fix would be taking longer because it wasn't taken into consideration?
No, really. I didn't notice that, but cool.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people complaining about it.
I didn't notice it either, but yeah, cool. If it was a problem and they fixed it, that's good.
That's good then.
That's good. Right. So that's the slides. Like I say, that's 3/4 now there. And I know you've been watching the chat as well. So I think we'll just go back and talk a couple of bits about subs in general. I'll get the questions that we asked to raking, that sort of stuff. Laredo's doing a great job again in the chat and that sort of stuff. The key point I was going to mention straight away was, people have said today, oh, you've killed my subs, you've nerfed my subs, you've done this, you've done that. Your subs are exactly the same fix as they were before the update happened. It's just that they now have more flat defense, and because they've got more flat defense, they need to be, that little bit extra needs to be fixed, and that's what you've been given those tokens for, so that you can bring them or to offset. I can't say you can't use. I preferred it being like 10 1-hour tokens and that sort of stuff, but you can't have everything in life, But the fact is that to give you something back, they're giving you the fact that you've got some fixed tokens, so you can dock your subs if they were out in the sea. Smart people put them into their base guard, so it took even half the time again, and actually you can either utilize one of those tokens there, or you can fix them slow time. It's up to you. But your subs weren't killed off. Yes, you couldn't launch them, but that was the whole idea of the tokens. That was it in the concept. That makes sense.
I mean, I've got to say, I do feel kind of bad for the guys that have 5+ sub fleets, because they I mean, for me, it wasn't such a big deal because I've only got my Ghost Crawler and my old Nighthawk fleet, my Phantom Nighthawk fleet. So the only thing that took any damage was my Phantom Nighthawk fleet. So I used the one repair token on it, and then I had another repair token I used on a base fleet that I'd used, right? So it wasn't a big deal for me. But for guys who have 5+ sub fleets, this kind of sucks. I'm not being funny, Kickside, but this kind of sucks, right? Because they're basically going to be left with 3+ fleets that they have to eat the repair on through no real fault of their own, and I just think that's kind of out of order. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I got four fleets, but I could only fix 2 of them, so I've just got to fix 2.
Yeah, Ren's in chat as well, and I've just had a PM from Riken as well, basically. It's the same thing, yeah. I mean, like I said previously when I was going to do the preview, and unfortunately didn't back in time, but I've got everything I kept everything on purpose from Kudas right the way up to obviously my Tiger Sharks, and I'm just on my last few shards to get my Ghost Crawler. So I kept every subset available. So I've got 5 sets of subs now that need fixing. The cheapy ones, I'm just going to let them do themselves, that sort of stuff. And I've used the 2 tokens to fix the Tigers and to fix the Nighthawks, just so I get them back out on the sea again, because I've got Phantoms for both of those. But the rest of them I'm just going to fix in slow time. So have I lost out? Well, to be honest, I don't really use the other sets, because obviously one of them's Reapers, it's Coolers and it's Spectres. So I don't really use them, but I like to keep hold of things like that, because then we do test servers,
But on the flip side, if you were a guy that went out and hit a lot of bases, then that's going to hamper you, right? Because you then got to make a choice: do I repair my base fleet, or do I put one of these sub fleets on to repair while I go to sleep? And obviously you're going to repair your base fleet, right? So when do you find the time to repair that sub fleet? If you're doing chores and taking damage and having to repair your chore fleets during the day, and then you're having to put base hitting fleets on repair at night, when do you find the time to repair these sub fleets?
No, that's a fair point. No, I get you. Something's got to give, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't affect me personally, but I can really feel the frustration of people that it does affect, and I definitely understand it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so just to get quick confirmation then came back from Rakin. Basically says here that the names of the players in the TLC are in the description before you start the encounter. Once you're in, it just says Draconian, blah, 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 but it's before you start the encounter. So that's where you see the name of the player, basically, or the player's base.
I never hang around in the description.
Yeah, so that's where it is, just so you're aware, okay?
Because I'm scared of getting sniped, right? So I come out of my base and I move my fleet immediately, and then I'm clicking on the tower while my fleet's moving, and as soon as it pops up, I'm hitting attack. Do you know what I mean? So I never get a chance to see that. if anything, the pop-ups are an annoyance to me. That's the danger point, right? When my fleet's moving and the pop-up comes up and I can't see shit, do you know what I mean? That's the danger point, do you know what I mean? If my fleet stops before I click go.
Yeah,
I'd rather not have the pop-up, mate, to tell you the truth. It's the same thing with the Forsaken mission. You know, when you click the first one and it gives you a pop-up instead of just attacking the hub?
Yeah.
That always catches me out. Or when you come out of the hub and you've just got the tokens, and you come out of the hub and you're trying to spam click away, right, so that your fleet will move and you don't get sniped.
And you don't get sniped, yeah.
You get 4 pop-ups about how you won all these tokens. They just won't go away.
Go away, yeah. No, understood. So we've got the last 10 minutes now. What I thought we'd quickly do is I'll just go for those questions that we posed to Riken earlier today, and I'll go over quickly 3 of the answers, and then you can highlight the 4th one because you've got the interesting bit of news as well. So confirm then, as Lorena said, then basically my question basically was phantoms versus standard hulls. How are Kixie going to apply the effects across the full fleet when the upgrades of the Foundry do affect obviously certain things like speed and turn, that sort of stuff of the standard sub? And the answer was, yeah, the Phantom versions have already been upgraded to R5. As soon as you start Foundrying them, things will catch up with the Phantom version. Dive times, etc., will not be affected, so that's good news. Basically, my question was, if you can't get your subs back on the sea within an hour, okay, then the raid will be considered a bit of a flop potentially. Okay, numbers may drop off. Okay, some only get 3 to 4 hours a day to play at best. That needs considering. Coin is not necessarily the only way for a mid-level player to get a mid-level prize. And the answer back from that one was, please suggest to the players that basically start to think of submarines as regular ships. With these changes, our goal is to adjust the targets and make it such that your submarines surfacing, when they do surface, you aren't introduced destroyed, you will take damage, but just like a normal surface fleet, okay, when the sub should be able to dive again and then survive the surface time hit. That's the plan. So you won't necessarily get nuked and splattered and have to go back to your base. You will take some damage when they surface, but the plan is that they will be able to survive that surface time and submerge again. That's the plan.
But the key point there that you need to not forget is that, you know, he says when they're hitting like an appropriate level target.
Yeah, that's the key word.
You know, don't take your Kudas into a level 100 target and expect them to surface and survive.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
which is exactly his next point. He says here, he says, however, the newly released skirmish targets they will likely still have the all or nothing feel. We are actively working to mitigate this with the raid target versions. We are looking at how players perform in the world map targets before we make adjustments accordingly. Once we've made improvements to the targets, or after the next raid cycle ends, those updates will update the targets to the exact raid targets that players will be battling against. So it's going to be a watch and wait, isn't it? And then they're going to learn basically as they go along.
It's like everything, mate. I mean, know your level, man. You don't take Kudas in 100. Like, do you know what I mean?
Probably not wise, no.
Well, yeah. So, like, if that's all you've got, then don't go for the big ones. Go for the ones which are in your level bracket, like, do you know what I mean? Just don't be silly, like.
Yeah, no, agreed. And question that came from the TFC page itself. This is the question we have: with the Kudas and Specs and Nighthawks going into the Foundry, how will that affect the current retrofits, since they are currently in the retrofit lab? The answer came back basically the retrofits provided have been collapsed into the base blueprint, just like every other hull that has gone into the Foundry. If you click on the submarine in the retrofit lab, you'll notice that when you look at the retrofit level, it will be the next in the sequence. These new retrofit bonuses you will receive as you progress through the skirmish line in the Foundry. So basically, if you were going through, let's just say retrofit 1 and 2, Retrofit 1 and 2 has been included in Foundry level 1 sort of stuff, you know. So they're basically amalgamating them into one thing. So don't think you're missing out on anything by not being able to retrofit them. You're not. It's been amalgamated into the Foundry line. So you'll still have all the benefits of the retrofit line as well as the Foundry line. So that's it. And the last question we've got here, which I know I'm going to leave for Dave to answer, and then he can do our exclusives as well. It says here in the new sub.
Where's the answer set? I've got to go and pull the answers to that up. It's on the admin page, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'll read the question now. I'll give you a bit of time to do that, mate. Okay.
With my pants down now.
Sorry, bud. Yeah. So question 4 was basically, is this new sub, or if there is one, releasing soon, going to make all the work I do right now obsolete? I.e., should I do a serious refit here and now with a view to using it in the raids, or just use it for one raid cycle, or am I just wasting my time? Should I find the cheapest solution for now for one raid and then build a new sub if and when it comes out?
Yeah, okay, so he says, we can confirm that a new submarine is coming out in August. So that's confirmed. It's definitely coming out in the August raid. To answer the question, it depends on what kind of player you are and what tech you already have available. For example, if you are a low to mid-level player and you already have Tiger Sharks built, it's likely in your best interest to invest into the Tiger Sharks Foundry retrofits. Think of that relationship being similar to how Rhino was to the Apollo. Is the Apollo a better hull than the Rhino against the current raid targets? Yes, but that doesn't mean a Rhino user is unable to do the raid. And by doing the retrofits for the Rhino, your raiding experience greatly improves since you are more effective overall. So for those types of players, it's likely they would use that hull in order to obtain the new one, then chip away building the newest hull in order to continue to improve their raid efficiency. For high-end players, or those who hate doing the grind, then you should probably focus on getting the new submarine hull in August. This way you can have some amount of them ready come raid day, which will improve your overall raiding experience. In this case, unless you are a completionist or want a solid backup submarine fleet, you can take your time with retrofitting your submarines in the Foundry.
Excellent. Okay, so information on the new sub?
Okay, I'm going to have to screen share. First off, well, the only information we have on the new sub is its name and a picture. It's called the Hell Wraith, and we have the picture that they're going to have on the raid pop-up. We don't have any stats or anything like that. So if you want to look it on my screen, I'm screen sharing the picture.
Yeah, that's done. Okay, so that's a snippet, obviously, from the video they're going to be running. Okay, and we know that it's going to be released in the August Hull Raid, and we know the name, the Hell Wraith. So that's all we do know at the moment. So the Hell Wraith, it sounds like it's fire.
And I'm sorry if you think the picture is small, but that's what I got, and that's all I can give you, right? I mean, I downloaded the picture that was sent to me.
Yeah, and we still haven't got quite the confirmation of the raid date itself, have we? But we're guessing it's the second weekend.
And obviously no stats, do you know what I mean? Because
no.
None of that, I would doubt any of that is finalized yet, so...
Because I'm not sure if it's going to run from the 9th to the 16th, because it's a week-long raid, obviously, or whether it's going to run from the Thursday, which is going to be the 11th, right through again to the 18th. But it'll be in those 2 weeks, because obviously it needs to be, because otherwise the rest of the stuff for the month doesn't fit in either. So if it starts on Tuesday, it'll be the 9th. If it starts on the Thursday, it'll be the 11th. That's my gut feeling. But there we go. So there's a bit of an exclusive for you. So there is a raid sub coming out, a new one for the next raid, and the name sounds cool. I think I quite like it. But there we go. So
you can take it off my screen now, though, because I'm not screen sharing anymore.
Okay, look at me.
Did you ever wonder what they've done with the rest of the Scourge subs?
No.
No, because I honestly thought we'd see them being released, but they never.
The electric eel I quite like, I must admit.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a couple of nice ones in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I thought myself one day we might get one of those. They'd be really nice. Scourge will come back one day, and maybe that's subs are starting to come back in. Maybe that's something for next year. I don't know. Don't see it happening this year, but it'd be nice to. Some people did quite well against the Scourge in the end. I managed to find something that worked myself. So it's a bit of a swear word to some people, but that's because it was dropped on us. We've been sort of bred into this now that it's coming. It's on its way. We're doing stuff. But now it's we're getting there. Yeah, Ren just said in the chat, look, Banshee should have gotten some love. Yeah, I'm a bit gutted. I was hoping they get a bit more sort of bit of a speed buff on them, you know, to make them a little bit quicker. But
it's not so.
Some map speed would be nice.
Yeah, some map speed would be lovely, wouldn't it? Because I have to put the speed buff on mine to get them to go across the bloking water, which means I'm going to lose a special slot. Otherwise, it just sits still. They just take forever to get anywhere. You know.
I still can't understand why they did that for. I really can't.
No, I don't get it. Maybe it's just to annoy you, so you can go and prep people out.
I personally think they should have updated Predators. I do. I think they should have updated Predators because there are a lot of little guys. That's the only subs they got.
So how about we have?
You know, it'd be nice if you could make Predators capable of doing a 71 in one hit.
So how about how about the Christmas little? Remember we had the gunboat thing? Why don't we have that one with Predators? With like you can put as many torps on as you can as a ghost crawler, and it's got like a stupid speed and an extra range. Another Predator.
No.
August raid date confirmed for the 11th. Laredo.
Oh right, okay.
You can't do that, man, because you've got to find them, man.
Yeah, but you could you could do something. I don't know. It'd be quite funny just to have the rubber. I mean, you've done the gunboat thing. That's all. Just to imagine everybody building Predator subs and running around the place and knocking each other out. I don't know. Maybe they ping up every couple of seconds or something. I don't know.
Can you imagine? I mean, sub fights, you just got to trawl around and around and around.
I mean, sub fights are boring, but there must be something you could do or something like that. I don't know. Send out a shockwave and find them or something like that, or echo sound, or I don't know, something.
Bring the gunboats back, man. I enjoyed that.
I did. I had great fun doing the gunboat thing, I must admit.
It was fun.
I know that's nothing relevant to the skirmish line here, but it was funny. Okay, so we're at the hour, just tipped it. So quite a bit in tonight's thing. Like I said, I'll upload the slide pack in PDF format so everybody can look at it. There's a lot of content there, but all the retrofits are in there and all the sub upgrades. Use your 2 tokens wisely. Especially if you've got phantom fleets, get them out back on the sea early. Take your time to hit these new Reaver targets. Understand what Reaver does. Basically, it hurts a lot if you're using surface ships. So and follow the lead as been explained. That utilize these targets and get your subs into them, and start training yourself if you haven't managed to get some of the previews into the ducking and diving of going in and extracting and going and extracting sort of stuff. Because the good thing about Reavers is they don't turn.
Never mind.
You're right, mate.
Yeah, no, Ren dropped out in the chat that the new sub will counter thermal, but then he said joke afterwards, and yeah, I got a bit excited for a second there.
No, he's he's a wind-up merchant, isn't he? So I've got nothing more. Gents, have you got anything else?
No, mate.
Nope.
Okay, guys. Then what we'll say is we'll say good night to everybody, and please have a good week. I'm sure you will. Enjoy hitting the targets, and we'll look forward to seeing some of you on Saturday's open mic. Okay. Good night.
See ya.